Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I have another 10,000 round update on this SIRT. I don't have it in the rifle. Every time I make a video of the of me using the SIRT-AR Bolt or the Blackbeard or anything, YouTube wants to demonetize the video, so I'm not gonna have this in the rifle. I'm just gonna show it as is, but I'll just talk about it and describe it to you. There you go. Put this up here so you know what this is all about. Anyway, so I did a 10,000 round trigger pull laser dry fire test on the Mantisx Blackbeard, and that made it to 10,000. I don't have any footage of me using this because at the time of testing, I didn't record it. I was hoping I would get to 10,000 trigger pulls. Okay, I was hoping I could get to 10,000 trigger pulls. Unfortunately, I never got there. Not because this stopped working, it just became difficult to use this to get to 10,000. So I just decided to just stop it. Okay, because it wasn't enjoyable. It was not fun. If I had to compare it, I would compare it like if you got a new rifle, a new AR, new AK, new whatever rifle or gun you got, and you go to the gun range and you buy all this ammo and you load it up, right? You get the recommended ammo and you load it up and you start shooting, and all of a sudden every other round or every 3 rounds or every magazine there's a malfunction. That's kind of what it was like. All right, so that kind of gives you an idea. So that's why I didn't complete it. I could go to 10,000 laser dry fire trigger pulls with the SIRT-AR Bolt here, but it would have been unpleasant. It would have been frustrating, and I probably didn't or don't want to. I don't want to do that. Okay, so I'll describe to you the issues I had. So in the beginning, all right, in the beginning, um, this thing works pretty good. Now, if you are a casual laser dry fire rifle user, this is pretty decent. Okay. Now, I will do a comparison. All right, I will do a comparison with the Blackbeard, Mantisx Blackbeard, and the next level training, next level shooting SIRT-AR Bolt. I will do a comparison. They each have their pros and cons. It's just that when I did the 10,000 round laser dry fire test on this, it didn't make it. I'll try to roll in some um, uh, shots of where I started the test and where I ended the test, and I'll give you an exact number. I probably pulled the trigger a lot more, but you know, I count what the laser hit. That's the app I use, laser hit. I count what the laser hit app counts. Okay, that's what I count. So, anyways, first thing I did notice is that because of the way this is set up, the now, like again, if you're a casual user of this product and you're not gonna do a 10,000 trigger pull test, you can probably use this just fine. It's just that I chose to do, um, you know, a test of 10,000 trigger pulls, not all one day, just spread out over how many. Uh, when I laser dry fire, it is so fun. The time just flies by. Okay, the time just flies by, and next thing you know, I got 2,000 laser hits in that session. So, you know, 2 to 3 days, sometimes 5 days. So the way this thing works is you put this, let me zoom in here. So you put this, okay, you put this into your trigger well. You put it right over your disconnector, and what it ends up doing is, you know, as you pull the trigger, it goes up, right? It goes up. There's a little magnet right here. It goes on your safety. Your disconnectors like right here, and or trigger connector probably, and it as you pull the trigger, you're you're pushing this up. Okay, so that's what essentially is happening. What I think is happening, okay, is that I pull this trigger so many times that well, first of all, this part originally broke here, but this is the second part I used. There's two of these they give you, and probably because most likely they know it breaks. But this right here, okay, this is the one I was using, and you can see this little piece right here that kind of goes right on your selector. Okay, uh, let me show you some. So imagine this is the selector, right? That's the selector. When I started using it and the trigger got stiffer and stiffer and harder, it was harder to pull that trigger, and I was like, that is so weird. What is going on? And so I opened it up and I took a look, and I pulled this out, and when I pulled this out, the magnet came loose. So whatever glue they were using wasn't strong enough. I think what was happening was I was using this so much, right? Okay. I was using this so much, right? That, you know, because all it does is it hinges on that selector, right? It hinges, and as you push it up, as you push it up, it's also slightly moving, and it's going in here, right? It's going in here, making that connection, making the laser go out. And so um, it I pulled the trigger so much, so many times, X amount of times, and I was rapid shooting. What I notice also when I do rapid firing, rapid trigger pulling, it is not as responsive. Now, if you're pulling the trigger and then letting go like that, you're actually trying to get a smooth trigger control, you know, smooth pull. It'll work. But if you're trying to work on your speed, what this does is it just moves it up and down, pushes up and down really fast, and it also gets up in here and jams up in here quite a bit. I think what was happening was um, that this part right here, okay, this part right here was getting jammed up in here like this. Okay, it's rubbing against this, and it's putting because when this thing is going up, it is hinging off your trigger selector, right? It's hinging off your trigger selector while it's going up, right? And you're getting a weird angle to it. It's not straight, it's a slight angle. You know what I'm saying? It does this because it's pivoting off your trigger selector. So it's going kind of like that, right? And I think what was happening was it was just something was causing it to rub or go in a weird way. Something was happening that it altered the feel of the trigger. It was unnatural. Either either my trigger has worn out, and let me zoom back out. So either my trigger on my AR, my M&P, Smith & Wesson M&P 15, wore out to the point that it just, man, it just felt really weird, and it just felt unnatural and uncomfortable. When I looked in here, when I pulled this out, the magnets was sticking to the selector, so I knew right away that something wasn't right. That this motion here and the movement and everything um, just doesn't work out well for this. So I said, well, maybe the magnet was loose on the selector. Let me use this one, even though this part broke, but it still worked. I was having the same issue. Something was causing it so that and I think I know what it is that this was being pushed, and as I was pushing this up, it's rubbing against this, like, and it's putting friction onto the trigger. So I don't know if I need to adjust it, push it in more, or whatever, but something's not right, and it's it's just rubbing against something's rubbing against something, causing more friction than there should be, because I'm pulling the trigger really hard and sometimes it doesn't go. And so there's something going on with this particular piece. This is probably the weak point, in my opinion. Okay, so this basically failed the 10,000 round trigger pull. I don't know what to say. I'm going to contact Next Level Training, Next Level Shooting, Next Level Training, I guess, SIRT. I'm going to see what they have to say, if anything. If this really doesn't work for my style of shooting, if you're a casual laser dry fire shooter with your rifle, this is a cheap alternative. It will work. I'm a heavy user, and I know this will not last me. That's just my opinion. I will do a comparison with the Blackbeard and the SIRT-AR Bolt, so stay tuned for that. Overall, I do think it's a viable solution, but for how I use and what I do with my laser dry firing, it is not a viable solution for me, unfortunately. Anyways, until next time, bye bye.